The main topic for today's call is, or roundtable, is ad copy. Something that Dustin had brought up as, what's your take on writing ad copy? What's your approach? What do you see works? So since it was your topic, Dustin, you, sir, what do you got?
Yeah. So I just brought it up because I know that as PPC guys and our team, it can be tough writing ad copy that connects with people, right? We can get keywords in there, right? That's easy because as long as you can stuff a keyword in a headline, you feel like, all right, we're doing good here. And for Google, I think that is the case to a degree, but they look a lot more click-through rate than they do keyword relevance, right? I think that's probably the bigger factor, although both are factors of quality score. So to me, I think it's great to talk. What I like to talk about is kind of how you guys approach coming up with ad copy that's, emotive or, invokes emotion, still uses keywords, but also thinks about the customer intent, where they are in the journey, and how to actually put that in a 30-character headline. And if you can't fit it there, connect with other ones. So, just kind of talking through that process and not so much maybe the nuts and bolts, but like the way we try to do it internally is we look at angles. So take on a client, we think about, okay, well, let's talk about what we're trying to market here. Is it a service, a product, whatever? Now, what are the angles we have? What are our value proposition? What are the benefits? And we look at each one, we try to find angles where we can either ask a question or we can have a statement of, hey, like maybe the angle is we're the best price. So we can have, multiple headlines about the pricing. And it could be, one could be just versus other people. One could be really specific with numbers, like the actual cost. One could be whatever it is. And just come up with ideas like that. And now with the new RSA world that we have, we're breaking the RSAs into themed angles, basically. So this RSA has these 4 or 5 headlines at this angle. This other one has these 4 or 5 at this angle, and you can only have 3. So at the most, you got 3 angles, right, to start off with. But I guess, just the challenges of trying to find people on your team, or even yourself, if you find yourself to be more numbers driven, more data driven versus like creative. One of the ways that's helped us a bit too is we use Jasper, which used to be Jarvis, which used to be Conversion AI. They changed their name more than, I'm not going to say anybody. Never mind. They changed their name a lot, but the way we've been using it is not how a lot of people, probably think it should be used. We don't like put stuff in there and just copy and paste it into the ads. But what I like to do is basically go through a few of their frameworks, like the PAS framework or the ADA framework, or I'll even try some of the Google Ads headline ones, but I don't find they're that great. And just put in either copy from the client's website or from our landing page or from existing ads that are doing well, or just a concept or a thought that we've written out, like a long form, put it in there, look for ways that it spits it back out, like in like basically more simplistic, or like with an angle that I didn't think about, or a way that I didn't think about wording it. Because what I find is sometimes, because I'm kind of creative, I'm not like that great. My team is a little bit less, so I'm like the most creative person in some ways, which kind of sucks. But it does help me, because even though Jasper is not human, there's obviously humans behind what it's spitting out, and so it'll give you like some different perspectives on the same input. You know what I mean? So like for idea generation, more than take this thing, copy, paste it into an ad. So that's basically some of the thoughts I had around as far as the approach. Also kind of the struggle of being creative versus, or not creative versus being more analytical and things like that. So.
Got it. Very cool. Nick, what about you? What do you got?
Well, ad copy is an interesting thing in our world, because everybody is copied and replicated, and we can use pricing to a point, but in real estate, it really comes down to trying to invoke, like Dustin said, an emotion. Are we trying to get somebody to come in and click? We actually, it's our click-through rates are really, really high. And sometimes that's a detriment because we get people that we don't want. So trying to adjust that ad copy. So we've got a set ad copy we use in pretty much all areas of the country. It might adjust when you're in the East Coast compared to the West Coast. The Massachusetts area is not similar by any means to the Great Northwest when you're talking cadence and what they call terms, because you guys probably don't know what a rambler is, and and people in the Great Northwest don't know what a flat is. So terminology like that is important, but at the same time, trying to get the people that are truly interested instead of people that are just tire kickers. When we were talking about the ad copy, I looked up, we're averaging like 13% click-through rate across the board.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a dumb number. I don't quite understand it. It's great, but at the same time, it can be a poison too, right? You're getting too many people clicking through that you don't want. The beauty in that is we used to be able to go in and do gender and age and demographic stuff. Real estate doesn't allow that. So if before that, we were able to really get some real juicy leads is what we would call them, right? Like the people that were high intent, highly motivated in that purchasing age range. But now you have to use modifiers. So if we're doing seller leads, people are looking to sell their home. The one client that's doing really well with seller leads, she said, can we get downsizers? We want a bunch of downsizers because we know we can sell their house and then we know we can get them a new one. So we want to double in that, right? So we put the word downsizing. I look into downsize, wanting to know what kind of equity you have in your home when you're going to downsize. And a 25 or 35-year-old is going to look at them and be like, geez, I need to get a bigger house. So it sort of removes those people. So you can use wordsmithing to a point to get that to change. And it's no different than if we've got somebody that's moving from, the Carolinas to Florida, you're asking that question if those ads are running specifically in the Carolinas to our clients' stuff in Florida. You're asking that same question. They're tired of the cold. Like, check out all these look at all these warm houses close to the beach, right? So doing some of that. What we don't do is we don't do bait and switch. There's a lot of people in our industry that'll do a bait and switch. It happens a lot more in Facebook and Instagram and such, where you're like, see what you can buy for $350,000, and they put $1 million property on there. Well, there's nothing for sale for $350,000 where these people are looking. So you're getting a high click-through rate, but then when they go to the page, there's only one house available, and Jesus, that's $1 million. That no. So it's a dance. We could boost our click-through rate up higher if we did tchotchke stuff like that. But I think at the end of the day, we'll have, we try to dance where you're trying to get that proper traffic, because traffic is pseudo unlimited for us, but at the same time, you want the right traffic. So it's the click-through rate and the ad copy has never been a problem. The problem is when the clients come in and be like, hey, these people can't afford these houses. How do we get rid of them? Well, we used to be able to get rid of them by gender and demographic and areas stuff, but now we've got to do ad copy. So the ad copy is your tool that you use.
Got it. Very cool. Mark, how about you?
It's interesting. There's so many different things that you can focus on that I feel like I focus on these things, and then, whoops, I forgot to focus, for a while on these things. Yeah. Then you go hyper focus on those things over there. So click-through rate, as you were talking about, is not one that I spend a lot of attention on. Clients get, sometimes clients who are AdWords knowledgeable get excited about click-through rates. Obviously, we're looking at conversion rates, conversion costs, but then your click-through rates do come into, into consideration. You want people to click on your ads most of the time, as Nick noted, and you want to get your quality scores up. So in general, ad copy, our historic process has been those single keyword ad groups, keyword in the headline. Of course, that's more or less changing. And then trying to get, if God bless them, the client actually has an offer of some sort with numbers, get that into the headline. And then just like whatever we can into description, 1 and 2 that are compelling, and always some sort of call to action. And I honestly haven't tested the description so much. I always lean more on what's in the headlines. Yep. And then what's in the extensions that show. And that's been our practice. We try to get numbers in there, and we try to get some sort of compelling offer, something more than we exist type ads. And then when we run into a challenge with a client, one of the other ones that we had was in IV therapy, which was, I had no idea, was an extremely competitive niche. And so we started running ads. We're getting impressions, and I look, and there's 18 other competitors, in the local market. So then we look at what ad copy they're running, and then we punched up our own ad copy. But we're also limited by what the clients will, some clients that are like have a conscience in things won't just put anything in the ad copy, while some of their competitors will put, numbers that just aren't realistic. The locksmith business comes to mind there, where it's like $39, and there is no $39 will unlock your car anywhere in the world. So some of the ads that you compete against, then you're like, well, we can't ethically put these types of numbers in here, but let's put something in there so that we can get people to click on our ad. So I spend a lot less time worrying about ad copy than I do clients that email and say, I can't see my ad.